security. What is security itself? What is security? You know, it will shock you that most people, they talk about security without actually knowing the meaning. So like power, people want power. They talk about power without knowing what power is. So what is security? If you check the budget of every country in the world, the security vote is always the highest. If you check the budget of every country in the world, the security vote is always the highest. That means security is even much more important than education, than religion, than trade, than economy, than football. I said, if you check the security vote of every nation in the world, security vote is always very, very high. So that is a pointer to the significance of security. We cannot exist in any environment. It shows the importance of that thing called, without security, every other human activity stops. So security is actually the bedrock of every other human activity. So let's try to define it. By defining it, then we'll explain it. What is security to you is not the same thing that's going to be security to another country. Your idea of security is not what will be the idea. America has its own conception of security that is different from Nigeria's conception of security. In America now, their number one problem is weapons of mass destruction. That is farthest from Nigeria's security concern. When I say weapons of mass destruction, we talk of radiological weapon, nuclear weapon, biological weapon, chemical weapon. Our own is, we are not even interested in all those long things. Our own security concern is terrorism. Boko Haram. I mean, that is what we are concerned with. So what they are worried about, that they call security, is not the same thing that we actually call security in Nigeria. So we now ask that, how do you now harmonize them? How do you understand what is actually meant by that security? You know, in America, again, they protected the identity of transgender and all of them, all those bisexual and the rest of them, is a security concern to them. But here is a jail town. That one is not even an issue when it comes to Nigeria. You are either a male or a female, end of story. All other ones, you deserve deliverance or beating or jail time. But in America, it's a serious issue. So I keep asking, then what is security? Security concerns are in the hands of the state. Nobody decides the security of a state for that. It is that state alone that determines its own security. 1967, Nigeria killed the Igbos, Nigeria Civil War now, because we didn't want them to take away Nigerian territory. But this same Nigeria, Obasanjo, remember, will give Bakassi to Cameroonians without killing them. It's unbelievable. Security is dependent on the states, or if you like, is dependent on the president of that state. We fought a war with ourselves to ensure that a particular tribe would not leave Nigeria. But the same country allowed a foreign country to take its own territory. And that was why I said security is in the eye of the beholder. So security is, or can simply be defined as the alleviation of threat. Security can simply be defined as the alleviation of threat to cherished values, what you hold dear, as to every state. Some, they used to define it as the absence of threat. Not just absence of threat, as alleviation of threat to cherished values or your ways of life. In other words, absence of all those things that can threaten your existence. That is what you call security. The absence of anything that can threaten your existence is what you call alleviation. Alleviation, yes, to cherished values. Values are what a society holds dear. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Your values might not be America's values. Your values might not be Britain's values. Repeat it again. Security is what you make it to be. It is you that determines security. That is why you can never have a world government. Because when you have a world government now, the concerns of country A will not be the concerns of country B, and will not be the concern of country C. HIV issue is more prevalent in Africa. It's a security issue in Africa. It is not in Europe or in America. So they can never be interested in that. Literacy is not a security issue in the West. It's a security issue in the developing countries. So we said security can now be taken to the alleviation of threats from cherished values. And I want you to get that idea. There is no uniformed definition of that thing. Every country's security are basically different. As we are also taking security needs for everybody, we all have different. So it is now being determined by each and every types of those states. That was why I said from the beginning that it is very, very difficult to define. Then it is in the eye of the beholder. So that is why you sometimes see strange things coming from all those foreign countries that they are calling it, that you just wonder, are these people normal? How can that be security? There are two forms of security. The first one is security as a commodity. Security as a commodity. The first one is security as a commodity. And these two eggs, they are very, very crucial, please. They are applicable to what is going on within the international political system. So there are two forms. That security, one, as a commodity. Then two, security as a relationship. Security as a relationship. Which one would you be comfortable with to have a nuclear weapon? America? Or now, this question is important. You know why? America has been stopping countries from having nuclear weapons. Can you remember? Yes. America is comfortable with Britain, France, Russia, okay? Even unbelievably, no, Germany does not have. China, they had no choice, but then they are still comfortable with that of China. Then, unbelievably, India and Pakistan. Pakistan is the one that worries me the most. Pakistan is the terrorist capital of the world. Two regions, if you are interested in terrorism, Balochistan, Waziristan, you can go there. Two regions within Pakistan. I mean, that is where they go to trade terrorists. And yet, Pakistan is a nuclear power. Then, of course, America did not want North Korea, but they have that bomb. Now, they are actively trying to prevent presently Iran. Security as a commodity, simply means the belief in the existence of power to guarantee security. It simply means the belief in the existence of power or anything that projects power. That's why I said commodity. And the one that comes to mind easily is gun. When they say armed robbers are robbing in an area, when you have that gun, then you have rocket launcher in your house, then you have APC, armored personnel carrier. There's a way you feel secured. I say commodity. That they are robbing somewhere, then, or if you're a typical Yoruba person, they fortified you. That thing is there. You are fortified. Iron cannot enter. Bullet, nothing. There's commodity. There's security is a commodity. When it is tied to physical things that you can see, let me put it that way, or tied to power. And when I said power, remember, one, gun. When you have a gun, they believe that you are powerful. I mean, Nigerians would have loved to beat every army guy or policeman, but the fear of AK-47 and the pistol by the side always restrict their behavior. See, power, commodity. It is now something physical that you can see. I'll repeat it again. See, there is power in your certificate. That is why you are doing this program. There's security in your certificate. That is the basic reason why you are doing this program. Certificates now, they are going to promote people with master's degree certificate. You can come out confidently. You are secured. If they now say, if you know you don't have master's, go out. Commodity, you have it now. You see that confidently. The people that didn't have that thing, they know themselves. They should actually go out. So I said, security is tied to something physical. And that was why I gave the example of a gun. That's the best example. That is why states, now listen, to now take it to the real world. That is why states invest heavily in their defense. Billions of dollars in their defense. The bombs, the rocket, all those things that they have will tell other states, don't near me. So that is why states invest heavily. So the second is security in relationship. The security in relationship. Let me put it this way. Reciprocity. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. So they said, when you promote justice, there's security in that thing. See, let me put it this way. you go to the law court when somebody has offended you because you believe that, yes, they are going to be impartial. They will guarantee your security. So there's security in relationship. There's security in relationship. That look, by the time you understand yourself, you discover that you don't have any reason to be building bombs. When was the last time you heard of America fighting Canada? Britain. Relationship now. Like they understand themselves. So lobbing bombs, throwing bombs into Britain. And you can't hear Britain throwing bombs into Canada. And they said, see, when there is that mutual relationship, mutual respect, you don't tend to get conflict. Then you tend to get security. Is my neighbor. There can't be any issue. Reciprocity. I won't do anything to provoke him, and he won't do anything to provoke me. So that means there's security in the happiness of your neighbor. When your neighbor is happy, you are happy. It's a strange concept. So when your neighbor is said, the first one is commodity. Second one is relationship. And when you're talking of relationship now, like I said, then you can now talk of justice, friendship. Then that thing we are preaching in Nigeria, education for everybody, free health services. See, I'll repeat it again, and I'll keep saying this. Indigenization is killing Nigeria. So without ask the final question, and this is where you should be interested. Security for whom? Who is this security for? Security for whom? For the state? For the citizen? Or for those coming from outside the state? Who is the security meant for? For the state. That is what has been killing Africa. When you say the state, are you listening now? That's the president and the legislative and executive, at least they are the one making that thing. Then all others can die. That was why I asked that question. That was what they have presently in North Korea. The security is for the state, not for the citizen. As long as the state survives, that is what matters. Whether they don't have food, whether they are not educated, whether they don't have good healthcare facilities, as long as the state survive. And that's for the state. Security for who? Is to get the right balance. There's always the issue presently. I remember when they wanted to give NSD, what they call this, Nigerian Civil Defense, when they called for a gun, other military and paramilitary reacted, say no, they should not be given a gun. But they now have the gun. Then FRSC is now asking for a gun. I hope you are aware. Don't worry. Don't worry. They are also asking for a gun. He said they are asking for a gun. Now, see, the justification is this. Even the neighborhood watch will still ask for a gun. You are laughing. Sorry, you said it again. They are asking for a gun. See, our own concept of security is commodity. Their belief is when you have a gun, they will be secured. They are not even thinking of the relationship aspect.